Dear viewers, the United Kingdom general election of 2017 is scheduled to take place on the 8th of June 2017. Before you vote for the election, take chance to compare the main two parties' manifestos, Labour and Conservative. If you like this video, please stay with me to follow my Facebook page and YouTube channel, and don't forget to like, comments, subscribe and share with your friends. General election 2017. Who should I vote for? The UK election manifestos compared. The key pledges made by Labour and the Conservatives in the run-up to the UK general election. Brexit. How will each party seek to win over Leave and Remain voters? Conservatives. 1. Seek a new deep and special partnership with the EU. 2. Leave the single market and customs union. 3. No deal is better than a bad deal for the UK. 4. Control immigration and secure rights of EU nationals in the UK and Britons in the EU. 5. Maintain a common travel area with a frictionless border with Ireland. Analysis. May is being upfront and straight about the difficulties ahead, with a language that will allow her to claim voters endorsed a hard Brexit. Labour. 1. Scrap the Conservatives' Brexit white paper and replace it with fresher negotiating priorities with a strong emphasis on retaining the single market and customs union. 2. Reject no deal as a viable option. Guarantee existing rights for EU nationals living in Britain and UK citizens living in the EU. Analysis. Labour sits on the fence on Brexit, neither voicing a strong commitment to staying in the single market nor indicating a dedication to deliver Brexit. Economy. A strong position here will be essential to win over voters who are feeling the squeeze. Conservatives. 1. Continue to restore public finances and have a balanced budget by middle of next decade. 2. Meet average for investments in R&D 2.4% of GDP within 10 years. Launch a new £23 billion National Productivity Investment Fund. 3. Introduce energy tariff cap to extend price protection for vulnerable customers, but maintain competitive element of the retail energy market. 4. Increase national living wage to 60% of median earnings by 2020. Analysis. The original 2015 deadline of setting public finances straight is now 2025, and the manifesto creates wriggle room by ditching Osborne's pledge not to increase near income tax. Labour. 1. Eliminate the government's deficit on day-to-day spending within 5 years. 2. Mandate a new national investment bank to fill existing gaps in lending by private banks and provide long-term finance to R&D intensive investments. 3. Balance government spending with the amount it raises in taxes. 4. Bring private rail companies into public ownership. Cap fares. 5. Transition to a publicly owned energy system and reverse Royal Mail privatization. Analysis. Many eminent economists support the idea of an investment bank to boost major infrastructure spending, and polls show 58 to 60% of the public back renationalizing railways. Health. How will the parties differ in their position on health? Conservatives. 1. Increase NHS spending by a minimum of £8 billion in real terms over the next 5 years. 2. Make it a priority in Brexit negotiations that the 140,000 staff from EU countries can carry on their contributions to NHS and social care. 3. Build and upgrade primary care facilities, mental health clinics and hospitals. 4. Recover the cost of medical treatment from non-UK residents. Analysis. Extra funding is significant, but £8 billion is still a relatively modest sum compared to Labour's pledge, and it's doubtful if it will match demand. Labour. 1. Scrap NHS pay cap and commit to over £30 billion in extra funding over the next Parliament. 2. 1 million people to be taken off NHS waiting lists by guaranteeing access to treatment within 18 weeks. 3. Free parking in NHS England for patients, staff and visitors. 4. Increase funding to GP services and ring-fence mental health budgets. Analysis. The pledges are expensive, but the NHS has consistently said it needs more money to meet demand and costs, though it's unlikely that focusing on the top 5% of earners will raise the required funds. Education. From university tuition fees to free school lunches, education is a hot topic. Conservatives. 1. Increase overall schools budget by £4 billion by 2022 and redirect £1 billion of national funding formula to help schools. 2. Build at least 100 new free schools a year, end ban on selective schools and ask universities and independent schools to help run state schools. 3. No new places in schools rated inadequate or requires improvement by Ofsted. 4. Free breakfast to every child in every year of primary school in place of free school lunches for first 3 years. Analysis. The return of grammar schools is a key part of May's new meritocracy, and end of free lunches scraps a key Lib Dem achievement. Labour. 1. Create a unified national education service for England that is free at the point of use. 2. Abolish university tuition fees, reintroduce maintenance grants, and restore the education maintenance allowance for 16-18-year-olds from lower and middle income backgrounds. 3. Free school meals for all school children. Analysis. Labour hopes pledge to scrap tuition fees will attract students and 18 to 24-year-olds who still strongly support the party. Immigration. A key issue in the EU referendum. How will immigration policies play out in the election? Conservatives. 1. Reduce immigration to sustainable levels, meaning annual net migration in the tens of thousands rather than hundreds of thousands. 2. Increase earnings threshold for those wishing to sponsor migrants for family visas. 3. Overseas students will remain in the immigration statistics. 4. Offer asylum and refuge to people in parts of the world affected by conflict and oppression, but work hard to reduce asylum claims in the UK. Analysis. Continuation of the net migration pledge for a further 5 years despite never being met in the past 7 years is a divisive manifesto vow for May's cabinet. Labour. 1. Prioritise growth, jobs and prosperity over bogus immigration targets and honour the spirit of international law and moral obligations by taking in a fair share of refugees. 2. Will not include students in immigration numbers but will crack down on fake colleges. Analysis. While rejecting bogus immigration targets for the first time, a new immigration system may include employer sponsorship, work permits, visa regulations or a tailored mix of all these. Tax and spending. Who will put taxes up, and will you be affected? Conservatives. 1. Increase personal allowance to £12,500 and the higher rate to £50,000 by 2020, ensure local residents can veto high council tax increases via a referendum. No VAT increase. 2. Stick to plan to cut corporation tax to 17% by 2020. 3. Maintain pensions triple lock until 2020 and introduce a new double lock afterwards. Means test winter fuel payments. Analysis. May has scrapped Cameron's triple lock, antagonising a key source of Tory support, older voters, and indicating a confidence in victory at the polls. Labour. 1. No rises in income tax for those earning below £80,000 a year, no increases in personal national insurance contributions or rate of VAT, and guarantee the state pension triple lock. 2. Ask large corporations to pay a little more in tax while still keeping UK corporation tax among the lowest of major developed economies. Analysis. The IFS said lowering the threshold for the 45p rate could raise £7 billion. But critics say the measure could spark mass avoidance and drive top earners offshore. Housing. How will parties react to the housing crisis? Conservatives. 1. Meet 2015 commitment to deliver 1-meter homes by the end of 2020 and deliver 500,000 more by the end of 2022. 2. Deliver reforms proposed in the Housing White Paper to free up more land. 3. Build new fixed-term social houses which will be sold privately after 10-15 years with automatic right to buy for tenants. Analysis. The pledge to build more homes is made despite slow progress towards the previous aim and little detail about how it will be achieved. Labour. 1. Build over 1 million new homes, and 100,000 council and housing association homes a year. 2. Help to buy funding until 2027 for first-time buyers. Controls on rent rises for private renters. 3. Suspend the right to buy until councils can prove they have a plan to replace homes. 4. Scrap the bedroom tax and reverse decision to abolish housing benefit for 18-21-year-olds. Analysis. The pledge to build 1 million new homes a year is ambitious and tackles head-on Labour's concerns that house building has fallen under the Tories. Environment. From air pollution to climate change, how will the parties tackle green issues? Conservatives. 1. Meet 2050 carbon reduction objective and take action against poor air quality. 2. Develop the shale industry. Legislate to change planning law for fracking applications, and set up a shale environmental regulator, with more tax revenues going to communities that host extraction sites. Analysis. There is only a brief mention of air pollution and the Conservatives are the only main party to support fracking, controversial among environmentalists. Labour. 1. Ensure UK meets its climate change targets and transitions to a low-carbon economy. 2. Ban fracking, stay committed to renewable energy projects, support further nuclear projects, and introduce a new Clean Air Act to deal with illegal air quality. Analysis. Environmentalists welcome Labour's vision for a sustainable energy system that bans fracking and shows commitment to the Clean Air Act. Foreign and defence. How will each party set out Britain's place on the world stage? Conservatives. 1. Continue to help maintain the UN and NATO. 2. Meet NATO target of at least 2% of GDP on defence and increase budget by at least 0.5% above inflation in every year of the new parliament. 3. Retain Trident, invest £178 billion in new military equipment for the armed forces over the next decade, and complete the Astute class of hunter-killer submarines. Analysis. May commits to playing a leading role in NATO and maintaining ability for future interventions, placing emphasis on special relationship with the US. Labour. 1. Put conflict resolution and human rights at the heart of foreign policy. 2. Back effective action to alleviate the refugee crisis. 3. Commit to spending at least 2% of GDP on defense. 4. Support the renewal of the Trident nuclear deterrent. Analysis. The manifesto does not promise to scrap Britain's nuclear deterrent, but Corbyn's refusal to guarantee he would press the nuclear button reduces its value. Thank you for staying with me. See you in the next video.